What is up, everybody? Team West here with a little bit different video. This week we actually got a team builder because, well, I actually spent the time to actually build a completely unique team of 6. Usually I have like 2 or 3 builds of every Pokemon that I usually plug and play. Maybe switch out a move or two, switch out items, But for this week, we got a completely new set of Pokemon. Obviously the same Pokemon, but like new builds. So we're going against the Calgary Nitro Strikers. And just to give you guys some little bit of insight on their team, they do have a Rillaboom. Huge threat, of course. They do have Obstagoon, Steelix, Porygon Z, another Pokemon I think is a huge threat. Luxray, Pinsir, and Glalie as their sound Pokemon. So, naturally looking at their team, I'm noticing a lot of physical, physical attackers. Obviously in Rillaboom, physical, Obstagoon, physical, Steelix, physical, Porygon Z, obviously special, Luxray, physical, Pinsir, physical, and Glalie can kind of just be anything you want, having base stats of 80 across the board. So looking at this team, I was like, okay, well, there's 5 guaranteed special attackers here. So when I built this team, we have pretty much, I think, all of our Pokemon, for the most part, are maxed out in defense. I've thought about running screens, like Reflect, but I did notice, there's a few Pokemon here, that have the, opportunity to break screens here, with Luxray knowing Psychic Fangs. I think there's another Pokemon, I think Glalie can maybe learn a screen busting move. Obstagoon, I think, can know Brick Break. So there's a few options here. So I was like, maybe screens wouldn't be the way to go. With the amount of Pokemon that he has. Obviously, he has a very bulky defensive Pokemon in a Steelix here. With that base 200, I believe, defense, physical defense. And from what I've, scouted, watching a couple matches, there's only 2 of them to watch. But they both have something in common, and that's a Steelix lead. A Steelix lead with setting up Stealth Rocks. So I was thinking about maybe running, some kind of... I thought about maybe leading Hatterene here with Magibounds. Obviously, there's no neutralizing gas, so we can't get coughing and wheezing this week. Thank God for that. But Steelix, I've noticed he uses as a Stealth Rocker. I think from the matches I've watched here, let me look at my notes. So his Steelix usually runs Stealth Rocks, High Horsepower, Iron Head, and Psychic Fangs. Okay, Steelix is the other one that was Psychic Fangs. So, looking at this team, I was like, okay, well, there's Stealth Rocks that Steelix can set up. But I'm also looking at my team, and I was like, I don't think I'm really worried about Stealth Rocks this week. Just because as I looked at his team, I was like, okay, yeah, other than Araquanid is the only one that's going to take, some decent damage from Stealth Rocks. So I wasn't really too worried about it, so I decided I was going to leave Hat on the bench this week. Hat's had a couple tough weeks. She's done good, she's great. We love our Hatterene here, but I think this week is a good week for her to take a break. We brought her every single week, so this will be the first week that we don't. And we're going to bring our Executor instead of our Hatterene this week. Mainly just because I'm just worried about, Iron Head from Steelix. Hatterene's special attack, I think, could probably knock it out. But I'm not really too worried about Magic bouncing off Stealth Rocks. Because looking at my opponent's team, Rocks isn't really going to do a whole lot, maybe to Pinsir. So I didn't really think it was really that beneficial, really. And Hatterene is just another Pokemon that can, have an issue with an Obstagoon. Obviously, I mean, we would be super effective against it, but I just didn't really like the speed tier matchup between those Pokemon there. So we're bringing Executor. So my wife named all my Pokemon for this week's matchup. So let's go ahead and get rolling on who we're going to bring here. So we are going to bring Sideshow Bob, our Alolan Executor, taking those neutral steel attacks. I mainly brought Alolan Executor also to kind of counter Rillaboom. Rillaboom's really... I mean, we're going to assume he brings Grassy Surge, or Grassy Terrain. But he might not, because he hasn't all, this whole season. But I know a lot of people have been helping him get a Grassy Terrain, or Grassy Surge Rillaboom, so he might bring it this week. So we got Sideshow Bob to kind of counteract that, because no matter what Rillaboom does, unless it knows U-turn, obviously U-turn will probably be a little bit of an issue, but again, another physical attack that we bulked up on. So I think we'll be alright there. I didn't really want to bring Cantonian Executor because of Obstagoon. And the potential of maybe a foul play Porygon Z. There's multiple reasons, and being quad weak to a Pinsir. So we went with the Grass Dragon type Alolan Executor, holding the Citrus Berry, which obviously we can go. So we went ahead and we are max attack and max defense. Executor actually not terrible special defense naturally, but a little worried, maybe a little bit worried with an Ice Beam Porygon Z. I think will knock this thing out. So that's the one Pokemon we gotta watch out for. And we are running a physical Alolan Executor here. Its special attack I think is only 20 points more. So we did lose out a little bit here, but we are running Superpower, Earthquake, Outrage, and of course Trick Room in case we feel like we would benefit from Trick Room. Superpower will obviously help with one thing I also noticed looking at his team. Obstagoon, weak to fighting. Steelix, weak to fighting. Porygon Z, weak to fighting. And if he decides to bring Glalie, weak to fighting. So, I mean, he has quite a bit of Pokemon. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 Pokemon that are weak to fighting type moves. So you guys will look through my team here, and you guys will notice a very noticeable trend here. So we're running a physical attacking Alolan Executor with Superpower, Earthquake, Outrage, and Trick Room. And we'll go ahead and go on to... We're going to bring Ditto this week. Ditto is, of course, rocking the Imposter. His name is Imposter. Shout out to Among Us. Obviously holding the Choice Scarf. Beginning of the season, I wasn't running Choice Scarf Ditto. I was actually just taking my chances. But Choice Scarf's kind of found its way onto Ditto for a while now. Also another good counter to that Rillaboom. A good counter to that Porygon Z. And really good counter to maybe an Obstagoon or whatever. Ditto obviously just pretty much counters anything I want it to. So it kind of just depends on the situation here. But we got Imposter, our Ditto. We're bringing our Araquanid, holding Leftovers. Nicknamed is Webster. Obviously we are also... Now this one we're not max defense. I think we favored more HP and special defense. That's mainly a Pokemon I can kind of just put in to maybe take a Hyper Beam from a Porygon Z. Obviously, Araquanid having crazy special defense will come in handy here. I think we should be able to take a Hyper Beam from a Porygon Z with adaptability. I think we should just live one of those. And then we're obviously rocking Leech Life, Liquidation, Mirror Coat for that Porygon Z. If it does Hyper Beam us, we can go ahead and launch the Mirror Coat and basically return that damage back to Porygon Z. And then Poison Jab. Poison Jab is there just as another alternative move to Rillaboom. Liquidation, obviously, just because it's strong with the water bubble. And we got leftovers there. And now we got Gadget, our Diggersby. I've never run this set on a Diggersby before. But Diggersby, I like Diggersby's matchup here. Diggersby has such a cool move pool. Like we got options for Rillaboom, we got options for Obstagoon, we got options for Steelix, we got options for Porygon Z, we got options for Luxray, and we even got options for Pinsir and Glalie. So Diggersby is like the perfect counter. We are holding the Rindoberry. That's just to kind of, in case he is running Grassy Surge, Rillaboom, we can live a Grassy Glide attack from that. And we are also maxed out on defense. We have not run a max defense Diggersby all season. Max attack, max defense. And we are rocking the Earthquake, Fire Punch, Superpower, and Bulk Up. The reason why we're leading Bulk Up is why we're having Bulk Up is because I'm kind of feeling about leading Diggersby. Just in case he does lead Steelix trying to go for Stealth Rocks. Even though against my team, I don't know why he would run Stealth Rocks, but I mean, it's an option. That way, if he does lead Steelix, we can literally just lead Diggersby, Bulk Up. If he does Stealth Rocks again, we could probably Bulk Up again. If he does Stealth Rocks turn 1, we could probably Bulk Up again, and that'll make us up +2 defense and +2 attack. Which will be like the perfect counter to his Pokemon. And then obviously Steelix with Diggersby out, he'll probably switch out into Rillaboom, and then we can +2 Fire Punch Rillaboom after we live, of course, a Grassy Glide with being +2 defense and defense investments. I'm hoping it's enough. I don't really know. I didn't really calc it. I'm kind of just assuming it might be. Because Diggersby is usually pretty decently bulky anyway. So we got Lantern, whose name did get cut off, so it's not an imposter, but obviously it's not an imposte. So I'll just pretend it's French. Obviously holding the Rocky Helmet to kind of counteract those physical attackers. Again, Rocky Helmet, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot to his team. It's just chip damage there to an already bulky Lantern. That is max special attack and max defense. And we are running Dazzling Gleam to counteract that Obstagoon. We're running Scald, Ice Beam, and T-Wave just to, if we feel like being annoying, we can kind of T-Wave things. I was just kind of having an issue finding a 4th move for Lantern here, so we're just going to run T-Wave just as an additional option. In case the Pokemon gets a little too out of hand, we can do that. And then we got Porygon 2. Also known as Rubber Ducky, obviously holding the Eviolite, of course. And then we got Download as our ability. And we got, also Lantern's also rocking Volt Absorb. Just to kind of predict an electric attack from a Luxray. Like maybe if we bring in Araquanid, he brings in Luxray and tries to, hit us with Wild Charge, or I think that's what a move it knows. But that's here for that. Just to kind of absorb some damage. And then obviously max special attack, max defense on Lantern. Rubber Ducky also rocking max special attack, max defense. And we're rocking Foul Play, Recover, Trick Room, and Try Attack. Foul Play, of course, because the higher the target's attack stat, the greater the damage it deals. He has a lot of physical attackers, so I think Foul Play would be a really great move to have here. We are rocking Recover, just to recover, obviously. Trick Room, if we feel like we're in a situation where we need to set Trick Room again, we can. And Try Attack, because I didn't see any benefit of rocking Ice Beam, other than like Rillaboom and maybe Pinsir. But that's why we kind of have Foul Play and Try Attack for that Pinsir. So that's all that, and that's going to be our squad we go into this matchup with. We got about 15 minutes before the match starts. So I will hopefully see you guys in the matchup, and I'll see you guys over there. Bye.